unloaded it at that point. And that was it.
So, well,
But it's a lovely town. And what's nice now, you wouldn't know, I hope you turned this thing off. What's nice now is that streets like the street on the side of the library, all around the downtown that were small, comfortable homes, not summer homes, and now not lived in, are being redone, rehabbed, and just being absolutely brought up to date. It's so, the whole town is just lovely.
yeah. I remember reading one time about a gentleman who used to own one of the Hamilton's boatyard.
Oh, yeah.
In the harbor, okay.
Nice guy.
And he
yeah.
wrote a letter and said, these condominiums aren't such a bad thing. You should have seen what Round Lake looked like in the
That's right.
30s and 40s. It was really trashy and ugly.
Oh, yeah.
So-
Well, it was okay, but it wasn't, as you advanced in awareness of what a town like this could be, but by still keeping it did stay
Yeah,
to a point. You have to put your foot down every once in a while.
right. Yeah.
Well, would you mind showing me a picture of your husband?
Oh, Gordon, sure. Now, this is just a little bitty thing here.
Yeah, just kind of hold it up so I can see. And this is about when you moved here?
Yes.
Uh-huh.
And this was the factory, which is
Okay.
not today.
All right.
It was called Freedman's Artifacts?
Artcraft.
Artcraft.
Mhm.
Okay. And then you have one.
I made it.
I remember the Tin Lady.
You look like your mother now. I know who you are.
Yeah. And as my good friend said, aren't we lucky? I said, because we knew Mother, and I just saw her, and I said, we both look like Mildred and Gertrude. And she said, aren't we lucky?
Oh, that's
You
true.
are.
That's
You had that
right.
wonderful complexion of your mother, too.
And I remember the Tin Lady when I was in college. 'cause-
You do?
Yeah, I
Oh,
came up and I
dear.
was really
But
excited
nobody
about
had a tin lady. I mean, nobody had an antique shop.
it. Right.
And the other thing was, I remember, I felt so badly, a local, that's a horrible way to say it, but a resident, okay, came from down the street. And she had a tray she wanted to sell. And she was so reluctant, and we worked that out. And then she saw something in the shop she wanted. And I said, well, you can have it. Well, she paid up for it, as she could take it and
Yeah.
come back. Well, it was so nice to get the people to feel comfortable to just come in,
Right.
because they weren't used to having an antique shop, and who had a lot of money, and a lot of people didn't have,
Right.
and still don't, and it's getting worse every day.
Well, Eleanor, you did decoupage
Yes,
yourself and
yeah.
sold many, many pieces long before people even knew what decoupage
Yeah,
was.
I sold it all over the
I
country.
know you did.
Yeah, well, that's
She
okay.
was very talented as well as artistically talented in
Yeah,
her
sounds like
decoupage
it.
work.
On tin, that's how I got to
It's
name
tin,
it the
That's where she
Tin
got the
Lady.
She'd buy old pieces of tin in Kentucky.
And I wouldn't
or wherever.
I wouldn't deface anything that was in good shape in tin,
Right.
antiques. But then that's when I started, I always loved those, they were European, they still are, beautiful imports with decoupage pieces which were laid on pieces and varnished over. And it was an old world feeling, and I could never afford those pieces. So I thought, okay, this will be great.
I'll do this.
Yeah, I'll try.
I'll try. Yeah.
Well, I did, and I had 20 coats of varnish on each piece. Well, when they came out with a spray can of it, I quit. No way, I'm not competing with the spray can.
Yeah.
But it was fun, and Janine pushed me, Virginia Olson pushed me, and I just didn't feel that it was anything much. It was
You were
fun.
very, very talented, Al.
Well,
So were there lots of artists in the area?
there are now, every town has artists in
Right.
it. They just are in their own woodwork until there's a reason to come out of it, right?
Yeah. Yeah. It's-
Nice people.
Were you ever a part of the Charlevoix Art Fair? Were you on that, a part of that group that brought the art?
I
fair?
was part of the workings of it, the beginnings of
That's
it,
what I meant.
and the
Yeah.
structure of it.
Yeah.
I was on the board, but I was never in the art fair.
Right, but
Oh, but you helped it get going.
Right. There were quite a few of us that did that. Anything that was for the city, for the town, we all were part of. It was a nice, easy thing to do in this town.
There were only about 8 or 9 of you though that got
Yeah.
that art fair going.
Yeah.
Look what it's turned into today.
It's
It
fabulous.
is.
Look what happened to us. You're not.
I am right now. I'm starting to do it right now.
Bad guy.
It's okay,
Well,
Eleanor.
because you have to answer our last question,
What?
what
Which
is
one?
your philosophy on life?
Oh, I didn't do that. That was the best thing I had. You told me that on the phone.
I did.
I'll tell you what my
All right,
philosophy
see,
is.
I
like.
turned it on for that. We need that.
All right. Where in the world is it?
I bet you
Well,
don't.
I don't have to. My
don't have to look it
philosophy of life is doing and giving. There's nothing else that's worth anything. You know, you can't write it on paper. You just either do it or you don't. And if it's hard to get some people to get into it, but everybody does once they're introduced to the feeling that they have of sharing and giving. That's the way I feel.
And do you feel that happens a lot in Charlevoix?
Yes, I do.
Yeah.
I think it happens a lot if you're involved. If you're not involved, you're not going to ever get involved.